Okay, I'm going to go ahead and give you guys a real quick overview of the nitrous install I did on my 1994 Mustang GT. It's a dry NOS kit. Go ahead and start by showing you the bottle location inside the car here. I actually mount it behind the passenger seat. The reason I do that is mostly just because it's easier to get to. There's really easy access from the driver's seat there for the bottle. The older NOS bottles, the skinnier ones like this, will fit back here no problem. The fatter ones, the newer style NOS bottles, won't fit behind the seat, so a lot of people don't know that. But again, it's don't need a remote bottle opener, and it's easy access from the driver's seat there, as you can see. You'll notice the bottle's twisted a little bit as it's mounted. That's because as you accelerate, the liquid nitrous is going to flow toward the back of the bottle there, which would be the left side as we're looking at it. It's just so it gets picked up under acceleration. You're not picking up just air. You'll also notice that it's mounted to a wood board. The reason I did that is I didn't want to drill any holes or anything in the floor of the car, cause any potential rust problems, or any permanent mounting holes that I can't get rid of if I take the nitrous off. You see the line kind of running right down there. It goes up into the console at that point. And from the center console, you can see it runs up under the dash a little bit. It's pretty well secured up in there, so I doubt you'll be able to see much more. Then it goes out the door here. Again, I didn't make any holes in there. I just kind of went through the rubber boot for the door itself, all the electronics in the door. The reason I did that, again, is just to keep any permanent holes from getting in the car or potential rust problems later on. While I'm in here, I'll go ahead and show you the nitrous switch, my panel and mounting location. I just put it in there in the ashtray spot. Took the ashtray out. This is actually made of wood. I'll probably end up making it of metal later now that I have the dimensions. It's just a Radio Shack rocker switch in there. You can see the wires and stuff underneath it. And it conceals nicely underneath there if it's not in use, and it also there's no holes or anything like that I can't get rid of later on. So go out underneath the engine, underneath the hood here, and show you the engine. You can see where the nitrous runs in through the hole in the engine bay back there that was already there. I went ahead and just ran it up through there. It goes to the first solenoid there. You see the regulator assembly and the two solenoids there. Go ahead and tell you how the system works in case you're not familiar with it. It's a NOS dry kit. Been around for quite a while now, but the first solenoid you see back there is the one that's actually operated by the arming switch and the wide open throttle switch. My wide open throttle switch is mounted right here on the throttle body. Kind of show you how that works. As it comes up, it just kind of activates it at wide open throttle. Keeps the nitrous from going off at any other engine condition. Once the first solenoid's activated, it goes into the regulator there. The regulator then pressurizes this rubber hose here. The rubber hose runs up to the bleed-off tee, as you see right there. That's adjustable with different size jets you can put in there per the kit. One side of that obviously runs down into the vacuum port for the intake manifold. That's going to be your bleed-off, which basically it's going to vent a certain amount of nitrous into your intake at that point. The second line here runs to the fuel pressure regulator, and that's what actually bumps your fuel pressure up. So it's going to pressurize that fuel pressure regulator line to about 40 psi or so. It's going to bump up your fuel pressure anywhere to 80, 90 pounds. And that's what's actually going to make the power. The nitrous just allows you to burn that excess fuel that you're putting in at that point. Once you have the fuel rail pressurized like that, this fuel pressure safety switch right here closes, and that basically closes the circuit for the second nitrous solenoid. It's a kind of a safety measure. Number one, it allows you to go from a rich condition and lean it out with nitrous, so it makes sure that you have the fuel there before the nitrous goes into your engine. Number two, if you do have a failure in the for whatever reason you have a vacuum line come off or something like that and the fuel pressure doesn't get spiked, it keeps the nitrous from going into your engine, so keeps you from getting a lean condition there. Once that fuel pressure switch closes, that activates that second nitrous solenoid over there. That opens, and that's actually the main feed for the engine there. As you can see it come around, and I've got mine plumbed directly into the throttle body there. Just seemed to be the easiest place to mount it on this car. And there's still plenty of room from the inlet there till it actually gets into the engine, because the intake's pretty long on the 94, 95 cars. You can kind of see I've actually got a mounting boss in there made of brass, and then the actual nozzles mounted into that. The reason I did that is just because I don't really like running aluminum into aluminum. I feel it could come loose or easily strip the threads out or something like that, so just kind of mounted it that way. And that is pretty much it in a nutshell. I'll just give you a real quick overview of the install and how it works, so maybe you can get some ideas for your own.